Elvis Presley Car Museum is home to over 20 cars owned by the King. Elvis loved cars, and the Elvis Presley Automobile Museum displays some of his favorites. Millions of Elvis fans have traveled to Graceland and shared photos of what is now one of the most legendary car museums in the world. At the museum, visitors can view over 20 of the King's cars, along with his motorcycles, dune buggy, and motorized three-wheelers. Come along with us as we show you some of the Elvis's favorite automobiles. This Cadillac is a prime example of the individuality that established Elvis as a cultural icon. Bought in 1956, the car was originally white. Elvis had the car painted purple and customized the interior to his taste. He traded it in 1957 and a fan later bought it. The condition of the car now is a result of a $30,000 restoration project that began in 1976. Legend has it that this Stutz Blackhawk was originally ordered for Frank Sinatra, but charmed away from the car dealer by Elvis. This car was presented to Elvis at the Las Vegas International Hotel in 1970 and was the first ever Stutz Blackhawk to be delivered in the United States. The car, although now fully restored, was totaled by a hired driver on July 1, 1971. The Centaur was a trike produced in 1974 and 1975 by Rupp Industries and was the only true street legal machine Rupp made. Elvis could be seen cruising down Elvis Presley Boulevard and Union Avenue here in Memphis driving the Centaur on a regular basis. This super trike was custom made for Elvis by Ron Elliott at Super Cycle in Memphis. It has a 1600cc 65 horsepower VW engine and fiberglass body. Elvis once received a ticket for riding the super trike without a helmet, thinking it was okay since the vehicle was registered as a car. He loved driving three-wheelers because he could take someone riding with him on the back seat. Elvis purchased this Stutz Blackhawk in September 1974. It is said to have been one of his favorite cars. The interior features custom-ordered red leather seats and gold-plated accents. Elvis was driving this car when he drove through the gates of Graceland for the last time on August 16, 1977. Perhaps the most famous of Elvis's cars, the pink Cadillac, was one of the few that Elvis kept throughout his lifetime. Custom painted pink, this car was first used by Elvis for touring, before he gave the car to his mother. He often referred to it as Gladys's car because it was her favorite, even though she didn't have a driver's license. Elvis purchased this car on December 8, 1970 as a gift for Priscilla. This is one of her most treasured keepsakes. She sent the car to Graceland for permanent display from her California home. The Continental Mark II was introduced in October 1955 at the Paris Auto Show. It was offered in only one body style, a two-door hardtop coupe, and was hand-assembled. Every luxury feature available in 1956 was included. Production of the Mark II halted in May of 1957. In all, about 3,000 Mark IIs were produced. Elvis arrived in Miami in August of 1956 in his new Lincoln that had been decorated with graffiti by fans with lipstick. He traded that car in and purchased this Continental with the proceeds from his current tour. Elvis used the car often, even taking it to New Orleans in 1958 for the filming of King Creole. Sam Phillips' Sun Records Cadillac was purchased new by him and is known as a Series 62 two-door convertible. It was one of only 14,000 convertibles made that year. Many of Sun Records artists, including Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Roy Orbison, Charlie Rich, Billy Lee Riley, rode in this car with Sam Phillips at one time or another around Memphis. The title still lists Sun Records as the owner. The 1975 Lincoln Mark IV was originally purchased by Elvis in October 1974. Produced as a two-door coupe between 1972 and 1976, the Lincoln Mark IV succeeded the very successful Mark III. The upright grille design, reminiscent of a Rolls-Royce, was continued, and the Mark IV introduced fashionable opera windows. The car shared the basic structure with the Ford Thunderbird, which both shared the same assembly line in Michigan. This 1962 Lincoln Continental was bought by Elvis in Las Vegas and customized to his specifications, white with a gold alligator top. At its launch, the fourth generation Lincoln Continental was offered solely as a four-door. Also, for the first time since 1951, the rear doors were rear hinged, commonly called suicide doors. Manufactured in the United States, the Lincoln Continental was sold for a 2-year, 24,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. This 1974 International Scout was purchased in 1973. This truck was used around the Graceland grounds by many people. After being in storage for a few decades, great care was taken to restore the Scout to its original condition. Elvis purchased his first Rolls Royce, on September 3, 1960, in Beverly Hills, California. He used this 1960 black Rolls Royce silver-clad in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Memphis. This is one of several Rolls Royces that Elvis owned. The interior of Elvis's 1966 silver-clad 3 white Rolls Royce features blue leather seats and walnut paneling along the dashboard. Elvis eventually traded this car in. Since then, this automobile has been owned by television star Michael Landon and country music legend Charlie Rich. Whether on the set of his movie Live a Little, Love a Little, or at home, Elvis had fun driving dune buggies. Bought 2 years after the release of Live a Little, Love a Little, this black dune buggy had a 65 horsepower VW engine. It was purchased on April 7, 1970 for $2,250. Within days of purchasing, Elvis had so much fun that he caused $433 worth of damage. Traditionally, midnight blue Mercedes-Benz 600 gross Pullman 6-door limousines are reserved for dignitaries and royalty, and this one was no exception. Elvis purchased this limousine on April 6, 1970 at Mercedes-Benz of Hollywood. Furnished with sunroof, divider window, telephone, television, and other amenities, this was the ultimate automobile. Elvis can be seen exiting this car in 1972 MGM documentary Elvis on Tour. 1969 Mercedes-Benz 600 sedan. This 4-door Mercedes limousine has a shorter wheelbase and was more popular than the larger Pullman. Only 2,700 of these sedans were sold and cost approximately $15,000. Elvis owned a total of 3 Mercedes-Benz 600s that he used around Memphis and California. He rode in one on his way to be honored as one of the top 10 outstanding young men by the United States Junior Chamber, or the JCs. This was the only award he ever accepted in person. Elvis was a motorcycle enthusiast throughout his adult life. This Honda 300 motorcycle was purchased by Elvis. Elvis's 1966 Harley-Davidson Chopper is one of several Harley-Davidson motorcycles he owned during his life. For Elvis, the motorcycle was a sign of freedom, and it was not uncommon to see him driving around Memphis on one of them. This black Harley-Davidson Electric Glide 1200 Liberty Edition was purchased by Elvis on March 25, 1976. Golf carts were regularly used around Graceland by Elvis and family for fun races against each other and to get around the large property. Elvis could often be seen riding these golf carts down by the front gate, even taking them out onto Elvis Presley Boulevard a time or two. This 4010 John Deere tractor was top of the line when it manufactured in the early 1960s. Elvis acquired it in February of 1967 when he purchased the Circle G Ranch in Walls, Mississippi. After selling the ranch, the tractor was moved to Graceland, where it was used for decades to maintain the property. In 2009, the tractor was restored by students of Northwest Mississippi Community College, and it was put on permanent display at Graceland. Elvis enjoyed spending time on the water with family and friends. These are 2 boats that Elvis owned in the 1960s. Named after Elvis's mother Gladys, Elvis owned the 1960s red and white 16-foot Wizard. It is powered by a Mercury 650 outboard 65 horsepower. The tan and white boat is a 1961 Glastron Bayflight DeVille powered by a 75 horsepower Evinrude. Well, we hope that you enjoyed this video from Elvis Presley's Car Museum at Graceland. I know we sure did enjoy walking around, taking a look at all these iconic cars. Some that Elvis Presley drove himself right up to the famous mansion at Graceland. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you hadn't done so already, please subscribe to our channel. That way you can keep up with all the latest and greatest adventures from the VA Fun Seekers. Until next time, we thank y'all so much for watching, and God bless. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Back in Tupelo in 1935, baby boy came alive.